So I went and played that gig,
Yes.
and I took something new with me.
Okay. Should I be scared?
Yeah. I want you to tell me what you think of this.
Took a Kemper.
Took something new with me. It's not these cables.
What? Like a full-on brown box, not a brownie.
Not a brownie.
When did you buy it?
Last week.
Okay.
Whenever I bought that new mono.
What was the
mono gig bag.
voltage?
Last night wasn't too bad. It was like 122 or 123, and it moved throughout the night. I didn't notice it was moving, but I tapped it down to like 117.
Does it make a difference?
I think so. It was a new room for me, so I haven't got to like play with it enough. Literally, I got it out of the box yesterday before I went to the gig, and I took it to the gig. I didn't get to play with it at home at all.
Huh.
So I don't know. I wanted.
Did you attenuate your amp?
No, it doesn't really like attenuate the amp the same way. It's just attenuating the voltage.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, so I took it with me and thought, we'll give it a shot. And sure enough, dude, it done the job.
Huh.
So yeah, I got it out of the box yesterday and threw it in my bag to take with me to the gig and just tried it for the first time on the gig.
Cool.
But it'll be interesting. I'm curious. I want to do some side-by-side sound comparisons.
Right.
And shoot some videos with it.
That'll be cool.
Just so I can hear it and see what I think. I think it's going to be more of a feel thing.
Okay.
But, man, worked out so well.
Huh.
It's really interesting.
Don't let it fall.
Yeah, it's all right. It ain't going to fall. It's on the head. Yeah, I just set it on top of my combo last night. I just had it like
that.
Setting like that, on the side of it, whatever.
Right.
Like that. And I don't know. It's interesting. I'm curious to
mess with it more.
Mess with it and do some comparisons to see what I really think about it.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I'm excited to hear about it.
Throw your basement on there too. I'm curious to see what your basement will do.
Yeah.
A bunch of amps, really. Especially like this Marshall.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into this video. We'll get rocking and rolling.
All right.
Hey guys, welcome to Tone Bros. My name's Casey.
And I'm Colin. We're going to get started with our current topic of the day, which has to do with TC Electronics Ditto 2 Looper.
Yeah. Loop.
Are we done?
Loop.
So anyways, this is the second version of their Ditto Looper, so it's around $120-ish.
Yeah.
What's the new feature, Casey?
So there's a couple new things in there. They made the switching a little simpler. You can kind of change that, but they've got snap looping now. I think that's what they're called.
Looper snap.
Looper snap. Well, snap, crackle, and pop. I don't know what it is.
Snap, crackle, pop.
But basically, if you time your pedal stomp wrong, it will correct the stomp and get your loop like in time.
Which I don't know if I like or dislike.
I don't like it. I like it for the fact of if you're playing live, it'll correct it. So that's good because boy,
I guess live, yes.
I've never used a looper live,
but that would be terrible.
But it would be a little terrifying for me. I don't know how Ed Sheeran does it. It's pretty amazing.
Right.
But for live use, it makes sense. For at home practice, I don't like it.
You need to practice being in time.
You need to get that timing down. So for that reason, I've got mixed feelings about it.
I do like the sleek look of it.
Yeah, I think that the snap function is going to be good for new players that aren't very good at it yet and need work on it. But
also a live musician.
I kind of wish you could turn that off.
Yeah, there was a switch.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Maybe there is and we don't know it.
They also made the foot switch itself like a little bit bigger.
Right.
And a little, like the tactile feel of the foot switch is supposed to be better.
Right.
We haven't gotten one in our hands yet to play, but it kind of reminds me of the old Visual Sound foot switches.
Yep. How you could have like 2 million switches or something that they talked about.
So it was like real fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that.
We like fat switches.
I like careful. I like it. I think it's going to be really good for them. The Ditto Looper is probably the most popular looper ever. It was the first one to do it well in a very small package. People would throw it on their board or next to their board. It's going to be great. It's going to sell like hotcakes.
Oh, it'll be awesome, yeah.
And I think it's awesome. So, yeah, I guess we can go ahead and move into your main topic.
All right. Main topic has to do with an emergency situation happens.
Okay.
Okay? This is your scenario.
Call 911.
Okay, before that happens, you have a house fire, all right? And as terrible as that is, you've got 2 hands and you can only take 2 things out of your house. What are you grabbing on your way out of the house as far as music equipment goes?
Move quickly! This is a paper company, people! Step lively! This whole place is a tinderbox. It is ready to blow.
Because you can think, what is the most sentimental? You could think, what's the most expensive?
Yeah.
What I wouldn't have to replace? You could think, what matters the most to me? What do you think?
I can't push a cart with a load of gear, right?
Nope. That's
Okay.
not an option.
Okay. Well, for me, it's not super hard for me, I don't think. I'd grab my J45 and I'd grab my Telecaster. Both of them were they were purchased for me, not purchased by me, as gifts, and they are both go-to guitars for me. So they've got a lot of sentimental value. They've got a bunch of function because I use them often, and they would be the 2 that I couldn't replace again. Not those exact ones anyway.
Sure.
So, especially the sentimental value. Those are the 2. My amps, as much as I'd hate them to go, they are kind of stock standard amps that are pretty easy to replace. Pedals, maybe some pedals like a King of Tone and stuff are hard to get a hold of, but you can get another one. Guess there's maybe some other guitars I could think about, but those are probably the 2 guitars that I would run and grab, and I'd be out the door.
Okay.
What about you?
All right. So my gut says my Tele, because it is like tried and true. I would really struggle. So I know I have to take my Eric Johnson Strat, because I bought that when me and my wife started dating, and it's sentimental to us. So I'd have to take my Strat. But the other hand, I would either fight between the Tele because I love it so much, or our dad gave me his D15.
Yeah.
And while I don't absolutely love that guitar, there is a lot of sentimental value with it.
Yeah.
I'd have to let my Tele go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think
I'd have a Strat and that Martin D15.
Hey, that's not a bad start.
It's not, but it's not what I would want. I would still think about that Tele, like, for the end of time.
Well, I mean, I'd be thinking about a bunch of gear too, but you got to take what you can take.
So I think, yeah, I would take the Strat and the D15.
we would both end up with an acoustic and an electric.
Yeah, but not by choice for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, not really me either. I mean, it's definitely by choice, but like I feel like without question, that's what I would grab out of sentimental value and obligation. It's kind of interesting how guitar gear can speak to you in those ways.
Now, if you had your own choice without sentimental value, would you change it up? I think the J45 is still a good call.
I do too.
Would you take your Duesenberg?
No.
You
No.
take the Tele still.
I think I would still take the Tele. The only other question would it be the Les Paul or the Tele? I'd either take my Les Paul or the Tele. The problem is the Duesenberg is a great guitar, and I really can relate to that guitar, and it inspires me to play music. However, almost every Duesenberg I pick up, I feel that way with.
Oh, okay.
They are so great.
It's not like a unicorn type of thing.
It's not a unicorn guitar to me. I've played a lot of Duesenbergs that all their quality is really high, but almost all the Duesenbergs I've played have been really good and inspiring in different ways. I cannot say that for Les Pauls. I cannot say that for Telecasters. I can't say that for a lot of other guitars.
Sure.
So for me, acoustics are hard. Definitely take the J45. I love that guitar. My favorite J45 I've ever played. And then I think I would end up still probably taking the Tele, but it would be hard. I would be trying to grab the Les Paul in the same hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just die.
If I could grab those 3 though, I'd probably be pretty happy. The other stuff I would miss a bunch of it, some of the guitars and gear, but most of the other stuff's fairly replaceable. Those 3, boy, it took me years to find the right Tele and Les Paul and J45. It's
fair.
hard.
That's fair.
So in your Telecaster, it took you forever to find.
I was about to say, I would take the Strat and Tele, and I'd leave the acoustic,
Yeah.
and I think I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
If emotion and sentimental value wasn't a part of
Throw
it.
your GS Mini on your back.
Honestly, it's got straps.
Now you're
No.
talking. Now, yeah, if we can get a bunch of gig
Gig
bags.
bags. Yeah, I just got one on each arm, and then Yeah.
Now you're talking.
Anyways,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you want to go ahead and move to your gas or pass?
All right. So my gas or pass has to do with the guitar. We always talk about like, okay, I'm going to get on a tangent of what we've already talked about, but guitars are tools, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or just gear in general are tools. Well, there's a guitar that Brent Mason had. It was a signature with PRS.
Yep.
And it kind of was a tool for him. It was a studio guitar. It kind of looked S-style, all right? He had many toggles to kind of coil tap them from humbuckers. And it was a Brent Mason Signature PRS, okay? Really cool guitar.
Yeah.
I've actually played one, and they're great guitars, get a lot of different sounds. It didn't necessarily inspire me to play something, but it could do a bunch of different things and get different tones.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they're used for $2,500. Not terrible.
No.
I mean, when you're looking at PRS like CEs right now, all right, pretty comparable.
Well, and new, they were probably pretty expensive. I don't know what they sold for new, but they weren't cheap.
Right.
And they don't make it anymore, correct?
They don't make it anymore. I think it probably has to do with him being with Fender again for his guitar. But Brent Mason PRS guitar, roughly $2,500. What are your thoughts?
So, and it's got like humbucker, almost like narrow field style pickups, kind of looking things, right, that you can split.
They're like humbucker type things that you can split.
Yeah. If Brent Mason's got his name on it, you know it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
The question is like, is it going to be something, like you said, that is inspiring or not to me?
I think if I found the right one, it would be amazing. But the thing is, you're taking a gamble on a used guitar that usually you don't have a chance to play.
Yeah. The price is right. The quality's right. The name on the headstock's right. I'm sure it plays great. It's got tons of sounds in it. I think it's hard not to say that's a gas.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard not to say it. And yeah, it's certainly not going to be, your dad's Stratocaster. You know what I mean? It's not going to be this classic Stratocaster sound. And it's not going to be this classic Les Paul sound or anything like that. But it's going to get you a lot of sounds. And I would love to have one in a gig bag and take it to some gigs.
Talk about a great backup guitar.
Yeah, that's the truth.
A phenomenal backup. Like, if your guitar went down, you could take that and you'd be totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that guitar in a long time. I kind of forgot they had made it. But, yeah, I think it's a gas for me.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if this is kind of in the ballpark. I know it's a completely different thing, but I wonder if it's in the same ballpark as that NF3.
So it doesn't have the narrow field.
Right.
Type
That's what I was
pickups.
initially thinking at first. And then, it's not the same thing.
It's not. It is kind of, I guess, in that kind of vein because it's S-style shaped. It's a little different. It's more of like, I guess they're special.
Yeah.
It's kind of, or maybe even 2408, how it's got that switch thing. So I don't know how to explain it other than I think it would be super useful.
Yeah, it's a gas for me. I think it is a gas at that price. If I could find one in the $2,000 and under, which I know that's definitely pushing it.
Good luck.
But if I could find one in there, I'd have a hard time not jumping on it, I think.
That's what I think. If I found one really good price, like someone didn't know what they had,
yeah,
I think I would jump on it. So.
Okay. Let's go ahead and move to my gas or pass.
Okay.
So my gas or pass today is talking about Dr. Z amps.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Dr. Z Carmen Ghia. So this is the head version, 18 watts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like $17.99 brand new. It's Dr. Z watts. It's only 18 watts, but that sucker's going to be loud.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on this? It's just got a volume and a tone.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. And maybe an attenuator.
I was about to say, it would be really nice if it had like, I think they even made like a Z28 or something that's similar to that. It might have like volume, treble, bass, and then an attenuator.
Yeah, you could always get one of his little air brakes. Not the air brake's the bigger one, but the, whatever the name of it.
Z-brake.
Z-brake. I'll have it up here. But you can get one of those and throw it on top of the head, too.
I think if the Carmen Ghia had a master volume, I would go for it.
Yeah, and it was kind of the amp that made Dr. Z at first.
For sure.
That and then the Maz.
The Maz. Mm-hmm.
The Carmen Ghia, it sounds fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I really want to get my hands, not on the combo, because I've only played the combo. I have not played the head and cab, and I think that would be a different experience.
Yeah. The Dr. Z stuff, all of it sounds good, but I think everyone I've played, the head and the cab always sounds better to me than the combo.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And maybe that's a thing for me with amps in general. Maybe it's not just, a Dr. Z thing. Maybe it's just me with amps in general. I think there's a few amps out there that I obviously prefer combos in. But, yeah, this Carmen Ghia, it sounds...
You can find them used for pretty reasonable, too.
Very reasonable, especially if it's an older one.
Yeah, $1,100-$1,200.
It's not like, it's a new amp either. He's been making this thing for a long time. It's tried and true. It's going to sound great if it's Dr. Z.
And it's great quality.
His warranty's great. I have a hard time finding a Dr. Z amp that I'm not a fan of.
Right.
So, do you think this is something you could work with? Is this something that you're interested in?
It's definitely something I'm interested in. I could see myself working with it. I just don't know if it would be a mainstay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it would be a cool sound. Would it be my day-to-day grab-and-go gig amp? I don't know. I'd have to... Like I said, I've only played the combo, and I liked it, but it just felt a little boxy. But I think the combo was really small.
They make them in 110s, I think.
And I think that's what I played it in.
Yeah. So probably need to get a hold of one in a 112 combo or a head and cab version.
Right. But I am interested. So I would say if I found it at a good price, it's a gas.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to call it a gas too.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move into my main topic.
Mm-hmm.
So my main topic today is asking you guys the question, is your gear holding you back? Maybe we're going to get heady again, once again.
All right, anyways, what's this about?
So this one here is talking about, sometimes I've got so much gear together and a big board together, and I think everything's good, and I'm just tinkering with it so much that it's stopping my playing. It's holding me back from really doing what I need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to simplify my rig and get things a little bit simpler. We were talking a while back about all these pedal boards, and if we're going to look at them like we used to racks and kind of laugh this is ridiculous, way too much stuff to fool with. Is some of our gear holding us back where we just need to shut up and play? You were talking a while back too about playing your electric guitar just acoustically around the house, and you're like, man, it stinks. It's not as good.
Mm-hmm.
But what did it make you do?
It made me practice and get better at my technique.
Yeah, you started playing with a bunch of other fingerstyle things and all kinds of different things. And doing that, you're probably going to find, if you haven't already, find improvement on top of that.
Right.
So what's your thoughts? Is some of this gear holding us back? I know that sometimes it can, obviously, but
I think, well, it's kind of like when you're growing up, and maybe this is just us, I don't know, the time frame that we grew up, we had that Line 6 Spider, and I had it on the Insane channel.
Yeah.
And that much distortion did not make me really great at alternate picking.
Right.
It gave me a lot of leeway for sloppy playing.
Yeah. Yeah, you liked that Line 6 Spider.
I mean, I even looked at a Bogner Ubershaw too. And I tell you what, those are great amps still, but man, that's lots of gain. So anyways, I think there's some gear that naturally holds you back a little bit. There's some gear that totally exposes all your weaknesses, like amps. There are some amps, there's no hiding. You know, like a Carmen Ghia, this Fender, there's no hiding.
Nope.
So I think there's naturally some gear like that makes you better as far as playing goes. However, there's also kind of like I was talking about where practicing acoustically on electric guitar, it's just not as fun. Right. So then I plug into an amp and I get sloppy or I don't care as much. It's not as intentional. I think it's not necessarily the gears holding us back. It's we're not being intentional when we are practicing.
That's a good point.
It's not that the gear is affecting us. It's that, well, I like this and I'm good at, I'm practicing here, but it could sound a little better. And then before we know it, we're just down on the floor all the time.
Yeah, staring at our belly button.
Right. Well, maybe you. But anyways, we're focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the gear holding us back, but if you got ADHD, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
If you're squirreling all the time, then you're probably letting the gear hold you back. But if you're able to be like, nope, this is what I'm here for, no matter what, this is what I'm here for, then that's different.
I think, too, especially for live gigs, that's why I prefer a simple rig. I've went simpler and simpler for my live rigs, and it's made me so much happier. But it's when you're at home, it's one thing to pull out a big pedal board and all these different things and get it complicated and running, 4-cable method with your pedal board and all these different things. That's great, but when I go to play live, I want to be concentrated on the moment and serving the song.
Right.
And if I'm worrying about a bunch of gear and a bunch of these different things, a lot of times I'm not. If you've got a show where you've got things pre-programmed and it's MIDI controlled and all these different things, well, then you really can. Like, you could have a ton of gear. You could have a pile of gear.
Well, just think about studio musicians. I mean, I would get lost in the weeds having as much gear as they do.
Well, and so many of them talk, too. Rob McNelly, all these guys talk about, like, the whole record pretty much, I just unplugged my pedal board and plugged right in this Tweed Deluxe and cranked it up.
I know.
Like, they're not always using all that gear.
Right.
They're finding what fits the song and playing it. But yeah, I find myself, especially at home, whenever I could be practicing doing different things, man, the gear swallows me up.
This is when I have my biggest problem, is when I'm playing my electric and I plug into the Pod Express and I'm getting a sound, I like it, but I just want to tweak a little bit. So I start tweaking and I'm like, oh, I messed it up, but actually I need to take this out. And then before I know it, I've spent 15, 20 minutes just on the pedal instead of playing. I'm like, well, I just wasted my time.
Yeah, that's why some of the menu diving pedals
That's why I don't have an HX Stomp. Because I would literally just be in menus all day.
Or a Quad Cortex or any of that stuff. It would eat up my entire day. And every time I go to practice, I don't have the
our willpower is not very good.
There we go. I don't have the willpower to be able to sit down and plug into it and be like, okay, I'm going to practice. Like, even though I built patches and made it all for it, I don't have the ability to not tweak. Like, I'm always wanting to work with something. And if I go to a live...
He's a tweaker.
That's right. If I go to a live gig, I'm going to set my pedal board down, and I'm going to get my sounds up, and I'm good to go. And if I've got things to tweak on the floor or a 4-channel amp, I'm going to be twisting knobs the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
But if I show up and I've got a 1-channel amp, and I've got 2 overdrive pedals and a boost and a delay, like, there's not much to tweak there.
Yep.
It's all in this, and I've got to express what I'm trying to. So for me, I've got to be very careful. I know there's a lot of gear and stuff around here, but I've got to be very particular on what I put in my arsenal, because the gear will take away from my playing.
So maybe it's not the gear's holding you back, but your ADHD and the gear is holding you back.
Well, maybe so. I don't think it's I think it's just so common for everybody, though. And like, even just like reverb scrolling. How much time do I scroll on reverb
when you could be practicing?
I could be getting better. Guess what? That pedal's not going to make you sound better, Casey.
Or you're watching these stupid videos when you could be getting better.
Turn this off. No, don't turn it off. But yeah, you could be, practicing.
Right.
So does the gear, is it hurting you? Some ways it does.
I think it depends on the piece of gear. That's why I just don't go into big menu diving pedals, just because I know my personality and I'll get sucked into it.
Yeah,
so.
I don't want... That's
why I'm not on the TikToks.
Yeah, and I don't want an amp to control a bunch of pedals. I think about that with the H9, like the Eventide H9.
Right. Or even TC has those.
Yeah, which is awesome. And if you can set a couple things and forget it,
right?
That's one thing. But yeah, the gear can definitely hold me back. And I think it's just a good time to pause. And when we talk about all this gear all the time, it's a good point in our episodes to say, hey, hold on. Is your gear holding you back right now?
Does your gear consume your time?
Do you need to pull the rein? It doesn't mean get rid of it, but maybe set it to the side and plug straight into an amp. Maybe plug or unplug and play your guitar acoustically.
Right.
So, just a few thoughts.
Yeah. No, you know what? That started heady, but it got good.
Good.
At least I felt that way. Hopefully you guys feel that way.
Write down in the comments below. See you guys next week.
See ya.